Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I am Jumana Khanfar from Taqarub International Schools. Our lesson today is about exponential functions. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to define exponential functions, simplify exponential expressions, and graph the exponential function with different transformations. So let's start now. An exponential function is a function of the form y equals a to the power of x, like y equals 3 to the power of x, for example, while a is not a negative number and a is not equal to 1. Exponential functions obey the rules of exponents. A to the power of m times a to the power of n equals a to the power of m plus n. Same for division, we subtract the powers. A to the power of m to all to the power of n equals a to the power of m times n, like 3 to the power of x all to the power of y is 3 to the power of x times y. Also, 10 to the power of 0 is 1, 3 to the power of 0 is 1, and a to the power of 0 is 1. A to the power of half is the square root of a to the power of 1/3 is the cube root of a, and so on. 2 to the power of -5 is 1 over 2 to the power of 5. We need to learn these rules of exponents in order to simplify exponential expressions. Let's take some examples to understand. Simplify the following expressions. 15 a to the power of 5 b squared c to the power of 4 over 25 a cubed b cubed c to the power of 4. Now, in division, we subtract the powers of the same base. Here we have 15 over 25, to simplify it more, times a to the power of 5 over a to the power of 3, times b to the power of 2 over b to the power of 3, times c to the power of 4 over c to the power of 4. These two cancel out. Here b to the power of 2 over b to the power of 3 is b to the power of 2 minus 3, which is b to the power of minus 1. A to the power of 5 over a to the power of 3 is a to the power of 5 minus 3, which is a to the power of 2. And 15 over 25 is 3 over 5, if you divide by 5. So the answer is 3 over 5 a squared b to the power of -1. Let's go to the next example. Simplify negative 46x squared y cubed z all to the power of 0. A to the power of 0 equals 1, or any number to the power of 0 is 1. So this is all equal to 1. Negative. So the answer is -1. To be able to graph the exponential functions, we need to know the domain and range. The domain of exponential functions is all real numbers, or from -infinity to +infinity, because y equals 10 to the power of x is an exponential function, for example. X could be any positive, negative number, or 0. So the domain is all real numbers. What value of y do we get if we substitute x positive or negative or 0? If you substitute any number in x, you get a positive value of y. Let's try that for some numbers, x and y. If x is 0, 10 to the power of 0 is 1, then y is 1. If x is 2, for example, y will be 10 to the power of 2, which is 100. if x is negative 2, y will be 10 to the power of negative 2, which is 1 over 10 to the power of 2, or 1 over 100, 0.01. As x gets smaller, y gets smaller as well, but it won't be 0, whatever the value of x is. For example, let x be negative 10. Y will be 10 to the negative 10, which is close to 0 but not 0. So as x gets infinitely small, y approaches 0, but it won't be 0. So the domain is all real numbers, but the range is greater than 0, or from 0 to infinity. Now let's learn how to graph an exponential function. Let's take this example. Y equals 10 to the power of x. The y-intercept of this function is 1, because 10 to the power of 0 is 1. As x gets infinitely small, y approaches 0. So the function is somehow like this. Let's see that on a graphing calculator. This is the graph of 10 to the power of x. It seems that the graph touches the x-axis here, but if we zoom in, we see that it approaches 0, but it's not 0 at any point. Now let's study some transformations of this function. Let's graph y equals 10 to the power of negative x. This is the same function but reflected in the y-axis, reflected horizontally. Now let's see the graph of y equals negative 10 to the power of x. This is the graph of negative 10 to the power of x. Again, it approaches 0, but it does not touch the x-axis, or it does not intersect the x-axis at any point. Now let's see the graph of y equals negative 10 to the power of negative x. This is the graph of negative 10 to the power of negative x. It is reflected in the x-axis and in the y-axis. Again, here it approaches the 0, but it does not intersect the x-axis at any point. This is enough for today. In the next video, we will study logarithmic functions and the relationship between logarithmic and exponential functions. Thanks for watching.